YouTube, welcome back to DLace TV, and today we have the rebuttal to the 100-point game. As you know, Bam Adebayo scored 83 points last week, and this same channel said that Bam Adebayo or nobody else can even get to well, he didn't get to 100, but I'm saying I want to see what pace he was saying Bam was on to get 100 points. And he talked a lot about the Will game. I want to see what he got to say about the Bam game, because a lot of people don't know, bro. Will, to get 100 points, he had to foul too. He had to get a lot of fouls going. If y'all didn't see the last video, he had 69 going into the fourth quarter. You feel me?
Take a look at the best scoring
no video footage
NBA
either.
history, and you will see a list of the greatest players to ever play the game. Jordan 69, Steph 62, Lillard 71, Luka's 73, Kobe Bryant's famous 81. It's the most coveted record book in all of basketball, a testament and historical evidence of the greatest nights in NBA history by some of the greatest players in NBA history. Which begs the question, what the hell is Bam Adebayo doing
Oh
here?
my goodness. I was gonna say, please don't be one of them haters. Please don't be one of them hating pages, bro. Don't hate on Bam. He did it.
With a mind-boggling modern NBA record of 83 points. Well, this, my friends, is the result of quite possibly the most egregious case of stat padding the NBA has ever seen. And despite scoring the second most points in a single game in the history of the NBA, Bam's 83-point night will go down as one of the most shocking and controversial games we may ever see.
Bro, it's cause people got so much of a voice now, bro. It's like, no matter what happens, bro, somebody's gonna have something to say all the time, bro. It's like, how are we respecting Will game and we only have a first person witness account or whatever, bro. You don't have any video footage. But we gonna believe Will. We have video footage and watch somebody at least put up 83, and now we don't respect it. But they said Will, that's how he got 100. So if we would have, so if us same people would have saw Will, we would disrespect Will 100 too, bro. That's just what it is, bro. People disrespect Kobe's game.
On Tuesday night, in a game featuring the Washington Wizards and the Miami Heat, with 1 minute and 46 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the Heat were up 146 to 119. By all conceivable measures, this game was a blowout. It's over. But with that being the case, why is Drew Smith attempting a full court heave while his team is up nearly 30 points on a piss-poor Wizards team?
Because he's playing basketball. Ball ahead, ball up, ball ahead.
He's
not. Wizards. Let's go.
He's trying to get the ball to Bam Adebayo, who is being double-teamed 50 feet away from the ball.
He's that good.
Because he has 79 points and absolutely no intention of subbing out of this game. At this point, the only way Bam is going to add to his historic total will be at the free throw line, because Washington is now guarding him with their entire roster. And what started as a normal basketball game has now become a full-blown circus act. But it didn't start this way.
What y'all gonna think when somebody trying to get to almost 100 points? What you think they gonna do? Everybody gonna give them the ball. Just like they do when they're trying to get triple doubles.
In just the first quarter of this game, Bam Adebayo had 31 points, the second most points scored in the first quarter of a game in NBA history. By halftime, Bam had 43, already a career high, and the second most points scored in the first half of a game in NBA history. Going into the third, the Wizards still had no answer for Bam. His points still flooding in, both naturally in the flow of the game and ethically. By the end of the third, Bam had 62 points, which, you guessed it, is the second most points through 3 quarters in NBA history. Before the start of the fourth quarter, Bam's performance was already being celebrated by his teammates and fans. He had broken LeBron's franchise scoring record of 61. He set a new career high, and the Heat were blowing the Wizards out by 20.
Oh yeah, he might score the most point in Heat history on bro. I don't know if a Heat player gonna get over 83. I don't know. He gonna definitely hold that record for the Heat and probably for the NBA for a little minute too. Until Wemby or Steph do it. It
is at this point where Bam and his coaching staff are left with a decision.
Stay
in the game and build into an already substantial lead. Leave the floor and sub out as the hero of the night, or stay in the game and potentially chase the league's scoring record. What decision should they make? Well, it just so happens that I covered this exact predicament in my last video, where I asked the question, is it possible to score 100 points in an NBA game? The final verdict? Yes, it is possible. The only problem? The circumstances required to have such a game are so unlikely that we will probably never see 100 points ever again. Unless a player is willing to infringe on the integrity of the game itself. There have been many games throughout the years that had record-breaking potential, but for a few reasons, most notably the game being a blowout and the potential record breaker respectfully sitting the final quarter, there have been very few instances.
And you got to think, a lot of them times, bro, those are like people who trying to rest players for the playoffs, and it's reasons why they not playing them players. Bam is the best player on this team, but it's like, he's a pretty healthy player. Like, it's the Miami Heat. They're really not. They're playing to win every game, but they're probably not gonna win a championship. So it's like, have him stay out there. And why not? Like, why not let him break the record? Like,
where a player was able to genuinely chase the record
why not let
without
my
any
player
negative
make
consequences.
If he can.
How did Bam Adebayo drop the most points in modern NBA history on a random Tuesday night in March?
Great respect
on a random Tuesday night in March.
History of the NBA. Now
I was watching by this time.
Bam. He gets fouled.
By choosing option C and infringing on the integrity of the game. In what could have been a celebrated, memorable, and ethical performance, Bam and the Heat decided to go a different route. With about 9 minutes left in this game, Bam had this incredible and one. A blow-by followed up with this great acrobatic finish at the rim through contact, and an explosion from the fans in the arena. And after hitting the free throw, this would have been the ideal and historically acceptable moment for Bam to check out of this game. It was his 70th point of the night. Miami had the game all but wrapped up. And up to this point, all of his points were ethical, non-GMO, farm-raised buckets. But instead, Bam stayed in the game. And here is how he scored his final 13 points. Free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, miss three, layup, free throw, miss three.
What do you expect when somebody is about to drop 83 points? They can't guard them. When you at the gym, what happens when somebody can't guard you? You start getting fouled. These are the same fouls they call every other night. Don't be mad because Bam got 83 off of. Everybody get these calls every night.
Over, miss three, free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, intentional miss free throw, attempting to manufacture more points, free throw, free throw. Bye-bye Kobe, hello Bam. In what is now being called the most unethical game of basketball the league has ever seen, the Miami Heat spent the final 7 minutes of this game executing every conceivable tactic to manufacture more points for Bam Adebayo. Chucking up unnecessary threes, intentionally fouling the Wizards to get possession, even going as far as intentionally missing a free throw.
Y'all do know these are NBA teams and NBA players, right? If they really didn't want Bam to be able to do anything, they would have 2 or 3 people on him at all times to make sure that he just never gets the ball, no matter how physical he is. He's going to have to foul up. But we're not letting him get that ball at the end of the day. Like, what are we talking about? We're not letting him score again at the end of the day. But they kept fouling him, and he kept giving them buckets. He already gave them 62 ethical. Even 62 ethical buckets is crazy. It's crazy.
To try to get the ball back to Bam. And as a result, they are quickly discovering why Kobe's modern scoring record stood for so long and why no one can seem to match it, despite a number of players getting close. Because, wait, I actually already said this a week ago. Let me find the clip real quick. 100 points in a single game is possible, but the circumstances required to have such a game, to justify one player taking that many shots and doing so without infringing on the integrity of the game, is so narrow that we may never see it happen again. Ah, that's right. The fallout for unapologetically chasing out. Yeah. This is truly a definitive and timeless paradox of big performances. Historic nights like this have become less about can a player pull it off and more about do the circumstances require a player to pull it off, in which case the circumstances virtually never do. This performance from Bam is not only proof of that, but it is evidence of what we all have known to be the truth. There are many players around the league right now who could go for 80, 90, maybe.
Since Bam can do it, anybody can do it. Since Bam can do it, anybody can do it. We gonna see.
Even 100 points on the right night. If they set their mind to it, if them and their team game plan for it, if it is their sole focus for 48 minutes, if the Washington Wizards are on their schedule. But even attempting something like this would require a player to break the unwritten rules of basketball. And that clearly isn't worth the backlash of possibly pulling it off. It isn't worth it. So what were the fruits of Bam's labor? The second most points in a single game in NBA history, the most free throw attempts in a single game in NBA history, by far the most free throws made in a game in NBA history, and the 5th most three-pointers attempted in a game. Oh, and he also broke the record for the most criticism received by a single player in one game. Now, if we ignore all context and what it took to get there, according to the game score metric, which takes all the good things a player does in the box score minus all the bad things and spits out a number that attempts to reflect the impact a player had on a game, Bam had statistically the 6th best game in NBA history, which is unfortunate that it will not be remembered as such. In my last video, I used this chart to display the greatest scoring nights in NBA history and the pace these players were on to reach their final totals. For example, here's Luka's 73, here's Booker's 70, Lillard's 71, here's Kobe's 81, and here is Bam's 83. Through 3 quarters, he was tied for the 2nd most points all time going into the 4th. In fact, that and one bucket in the 4th quarter that I mentioned earlier is right here.
Right now.
All of his buckets leading up to this point were non-forced ethical buckets within the flow of the game. Bam Adebayo was playing out of his mind, better than anyone ever has in modern NBA history, even before all of these shameless scoring tactics were deployed. The stat padding that spurred all of this outrage took place here in the final 9 minutes of the game. All of this is now invalid because of this. A week ago, I said the methods the Warriors used to get Wilt to 100 were outrageous and would never be used in the modern NBA. 7 days later, we're watching a center get triple-teamed 94 feet out while up 25 with no admissible reason for him still being on the court. I now stand corrected. But I don't think these final minute tactics are worth discrediting this entire performance. 83 points is 83 points. Regardless of how you go about getting them, you still have to go out and get them. The irony of this whole thing is that I've seen a lot of comments about how this game was proof for some fans that Wilt Chamberlain actually did score 100 back in 1962 despite there being no video evidence. If Bam can get to 83, Wilt Chamberlain could and definitely did get to 100. Which there's already a laundry list of proof from that game. I don't know why this would be the determining factor. But if Bam's game is being ridiculed and dismissed, even if the criticism is justified, then so should the mythical 100-point scoring record. Because the way that Bam got his points is the exact method Wilt used to get his.
I said at the beginning.
Literally, bar for bar. During the final minutes of Heat Wizards, Keyshawn Johnson intentionally missed a free throw in hopes that the Heat would get the rebound to get it back to Bam. This is exactly what the Warriors did for Wilt. The Heat also intentionally fouled while holding an insurmountable lead to get the ball back faster. The Warriors did the same exact thing to get Wilt to 100. If Bam's 83 points is invalid because of these tactics, then for that same reason, so is Wilt's 100. Not only did the 2 biggest scoring nights in NBA history deploy the most—
So I'm saying you gotta pick your side. Did Bam get 83 and did Wilt get 100, or did they not? Are we respecting it or are we not? No, bro. Y'all gotta pick a side, man. Pick a side.
Shameless tactics to pull it off. This is quite possibly the only way to pull it off. The only difference between Bam's 83 and Wilt's 100 is video cameras and an angry mob of critics online. Now, to be completely honest, I was thrilled to finally see a coach allow his player to chase a record and have himself a night that most players could only dream of. You want to know how many games I've watched that were spoiled by an early sub? A player being punished for giving too much belt to the opposing team. A 3-point party cut short because they were playing too good. Potential records shut down because it wouldn't be in good taste. If this is what it takes to make up for all the times I had to watch Steve Kerr pull a player from a game on the verge of a league record, then—
And that's my favorite team. I doubt that's his favorite team, but you heard how he said that. Now imagine me being a fan, like, pissing me off, Steve. Stop that. And hopefully this motivates him to maybe stop that next time Steph has 60-something points.
So be it. I am just as surprised as you that I will now see Bam Adebayo's name above Kobe Bryant for the rest of my days.
90 points.
But to see Bam have the audacity to stay in this game, emphatically do what no one else would dare, was just as fun as it was shocking. Which, by the way, every single player, without exception, would choose to stay in the game and chase a record if their coach allowed them to. This just happens to be the rare case where a coach did allow it. How can we blame Bam for doing something every player would do if given the chance? I don't know, maybe instead of putting all the blame on the man who just scored 83 points in an NBA game, we should aim that frustration at the team that allowed it to happen. Throughout this game, Bam attempted 43 shots, which is a lot. But you want to know who shot more shots in a single game? Kobe, and Westbrook, and DeJounte Murray, and Kobe, and Cade Cunningham, and Kobe, Chris Webber, Kobe, Brunson, Jordan, and Kobe. What about all those free throws Bam attempted? Those are the symptom of a team desperate to slow a player down, but can't stop him without fouling. It has been decades since the last time a player chased points to this extent, let alone had a coaching staff that allowed him to do it. But as I previously mentioned, this feels like conclusive proof that the only thing keeping that 100-point record intact is sheer respect for the unwritten rules and the opposing team and the game itself. If Bam can go for 83, I can only imagine what players like Luka, Shea, Giannis, and Wemby could go for if given the opportunity. But now that we're stuck looking at this for the foreseeable future, what are your thoughts on this game? Do you feel like Bam's 83 was legitimate, or did the tactic?
Y'all let me know what y'all think. I respect it, bro. You got to get it how you get it, bro. And at the end of the day, 83 points, 83 points. We can say what we want as people who are not on the floor, but I guarantee you, them people on the Wizards that get 83 points put on them are pissed. They're pissed. They're playing hard the rest of the season. They're pissed. Because now everybody going to come in thinking they can maybe get 100 on them. They're pissed. Y'all got to stop it.
Get nasty, impress me, baby.